If you've ever shopped for a car in the last 30 years, you've probably seen a tag that says hybrid on a vehicle. Well, what does that mean? What is a hybrid car? What is a hybrid electric car? And what do they do differently than regular gasoline-powered cars? And why should you consider buying one in the first place? The first hybrid electric car was introduced in 1997 in Japan by Toyota. The car was called the Prius. That car would not come into America until the year 2000, where it would come off with a very slow start, selling only 20,000 cars in the first 3 years that they were here. According to the Green Car Report, they sold over 60,000 cars in their fourth year, 2004, which almost tripled the amount of cars sold in the first 3 years of it being in America. In 2011, it sold over 1 million. And that's not the only one. In 2022 alone, there were 5.8 million hybrid cars sold in America alone. And that number just keeps going up. So if hybrid cars are so popular, then what's so good about them? Well, some of the pros of getting a hybrid electric car: there's less noise, there's higher mile per gallon, there's less maintenance, lower fuel emissions, and there's higher resale value. So there's less noise because they use smaller parts, a smaller engine and a smaller battery, and so it naturally generates less noise. Higher mile per gallon because of the way that their battery uses recharge braking, regenerative braking is what they call it. It charges the battery, which helps power the car, so you're not only using gasoline, and you are getting more mile per gallon. You have to do significantly less maintenance because of the amount that each part is used and the amount of tear that each part has on it when you drive it. You don't need to repair your car nearly as much. And because it uses more electricity than a regular car because of its battery and less gasoline, it produces less fuel emissions into the atmosphere. And because of the constantly changing gasoline prices in America especially, the resale value is going up because people are finding that more attractive in a car. Every good thing also has its bad thing, though. Just because it seems like it's good because it has an electric battery in it, it turns out that also creates more poor handling on the car. It's not just using an engine, it's also using gasoline, and it's not just using an engine, it's also using a battery. And so it has less power on it because it's trying to mix electricity and gasoline, and so having less power and less torque on it. Because it uses parts that are not found commonly in everyday cars, the maintenance on it is significantly more expensive on the car, and also the upfront cost that you'll be paying is significantly more than a regular car. That is mainly due to the ion batteries and the more expensive materials used to make the car. And just because it lowers fuel emissions into the atmosphere does not mean that it eliminates them. So there are still fuel emissions going off into the atmosphere. So if you are a more eco-friendly person, that might not be nearly as appealing to you. The hybrid electric cars are becoming much more popular for every year that they are here. There are numerous good things and there are numerous bad things that go along with it. And maybe that's right for you, and maybe it's not. Either way, it is definitely another option that you will most likely look into when you're shopping for a car, and and they are relatively recent development in technology, so they will definitely be getting better design and advanced and more technologically advanced in the future.